Hi guys, welcome to Paragon Cars. My name's Tom and today we're going to be talking about this 2018 Audi RS5 with a 2.9 litre V6 engine. We're going to be talking about how much this car costs on finance, what it's like to drive, see what the running costs are, and talk about all the cool features this particular car has. Before we start, please like the video and subscribe to our channel so you can see some more awesome automotive content. Let's go. This RS5 has a 2.9 litre V6 with 444 horsepower and 600 newton meters of torque. That power goes to all four wheels via the famous Audi Quattro system. In the engine bay, you'll find nothing super interesting these days because Audi covers up pretty much everything interesting with a nice little plastic cover. But under there, you've got your twin turbos. They're mounted inside the V, so you get a quicker spool up time. And we'll see what that's like later on the road. In the front, you have these really nice sport seats that come standard with massage. You also have Audi's virtual cockpit, which I don't know if it'll stop boinging at me. There we go. This particular car has the B&O system, which I think is essential for an RS car. Really, really nice, much better than the standard system. Another optional extra is the panoramic roof, which is another essential, I think. Mainly because the car gets really, really dark inside if you don't have it. In the back, there is enough room for two adults. It's not massive, but it's okay. We're going to hop in and see what it's like. This seat's in my driving position, and as you can see, there's actually quite a lot of legroom. Headroom, not that impressive. I can slouch down and use the legroom to make myself a bit more comfortable. You do also get an armrest as standard, which is nice, and then you have these flip out cup holders as well, which is pretty good. If boot space is important to you, you'll be happy to know this car has 450 litres, which is quite a lot, even more than some hatchbacks. You can fit 4 small suitcases in here or 2 large suitcases, so that's plenty for most people. You can also fold down the seats if you need to fit more stuff in. You do have to push them down yourself though, which is a bit annoying, but not too bad. This particular car also has the 20-inch diamond cut wheels, which are really, really nice, so you get this black effect underneath the normal alloy wheel. You get 2-pot brakes at the back and pretty large 6-pot pistons at the front. Right, let's take this car for a drive and see what it's like. Right, now we're on the road. We're going to see what this car is like to drive around town and on the motorway. And we're going to see what kind of MPG figure we can get and see what the handling's like. First of all, cabin quality is pretty much as good as it gets for a car in this price range, I think. You have soft touch materials everywhere. You have amazing technology in front of you. You have the panoramic roof. You have leather on the doors. B&O sound system with a very nice speaker cover. And you have this lovely thin flat bottom steering wheel. I know some people say they don't like the flat bottom steering wheel, but I think it's quite nice. It makes the car look sportier. And you also have this air blade type thing, which does actually, it gives a little bit of air out of it, not a lot, but it allows you to open and close it here with these little touch sensitive buttons. You get acoustic glass as standard on the S5 and the RS5, so when you're driving around town and especially on the motorway, you get pretty much no wind noise from the car. You do get a little bit of tyre roar, but that's mainly from the fact this car's got absolutely massive tyres. Using the virtual cockpit, we can see pretty much everything we need to know. So we've got our consumption, date and time, short-term memory, so that's when you start your journey in the morning for work. This will show you your mileage, time spent in the car, and your average miles to the gallon. Then you've got your long-term memory. You can reset that. That's like your trip computer every time you fill the car up. And then you've got your driver assist system. So that's like your cruise control and your blind spot monitor assist. Driving around town, this RS5 really does shine. The suspension setup for a car that's supposed to be very sporty is very adaptive actually. When you leave it in comfort mode, it's really, really comfortable. Even on a long journey, you don't feel like you're being bounced around too much inside the cabin. This car does have cruise control, so you can turn it on just like that. You'll see in the bottom right hand corner of the virtual cockpit that it just says 42 miles an hour with a green light, which basically means it's just going to hold me at that speed. You've got a little stalk down there which you can just turn it off and on with. You can just push it back, turn it off, pull it towards you, press the button, and there you go, it's turned on again. We're coming up to a national speed limit sign now, so I'll give you a little quick acceleration run. You can change your driving mode with this button, or you can use the drive select button down here. But this button here is actually configurable to whatever you want it to be, so you can use it to change radio stations, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to click it and we're going to go into dynamic mode. We're going to push the gear selector lever over to manual, change down a gear. And one thing this car is very good at is coming off roundabouts. And that's the speed limit already. We're going to go back into comfort mode and reset the trip computer now, so we can see what kind of mileage we can get on the motorway at 70 miles an hour. See you in a bit. Coming onto the motorway, you don't actually need to change any of the modes in the car. I'm only on a quarter throttle at the moment, and it just gets up to motorway speed really, really easily. As you can see, the blind spot monitor lights up when a car's coming past, so I know when someone's there. Really, really nice, so you don't have to look over your shoulder all the time when you're trying to change lanes. The driving position, I find it to be a little bit high, but it's not too bad, and it's certainly made up for the fact these seats are really, really nice. As standard in the RS models, you get electric massaging seats. So if I try and turn that on now, you can see, before I say that actually, you can see that you can change how tight the bolster is around your sides. So if you're a smaller person, or if you're a bigger person like me, you can loosen up the bolsters a bit, so you're not being hugged too much on a long journey. But when you are driving the car really hard, you can have it so it's squeezing you in and you're not flopping about all over the place. You've then got your lumbar support, which is really, really nice. So if you've got a bad back, or you're a slightly older person, you can have it slightly higher in your back, slightly lower in your back, or you can turn it off altogether. Because I'm young, I don't need it. Then you've got your massage settings. So you've got 3 different settings for that, and you can change the intensity of the massage, so you can go from 1 to 3, 1 being the lowest, 3 being the highest. If I go into individual mode, I can configure everything to do with the car, from the engine to the engine sound to the sports differential that's in the rear of the car to the steering. So I can make the steering heavier or lighter if I want it. I can put the steering in comfort, so it gets nice and light on the motorway, so I'm not having to move my hand around too much. Engine in comfort, sports differential. If you leave it in auto, it'll figure out what kind of driving style you have, and then will adjust accordingly. But the individual setting is a really nice option to have, because sometimes you just want to be comfortable, but you do want a nice exhaust note, so you can change the engine sound to dynamic. That'll open the exhaust valves in the rear. That's only if you have the sports exhaust system, which I do think is essential for the Audi RS5, because the normal exhaust isn't that great. Certainly not quiet, but it can certainly be better. And in a car like this, when you're paying so much money, it is nice to have a nicer sound to it. I mean, that's the whole point of buying a performance car, isn't it? For now, we're going to leave the car in comfort mode, because we're on the motorway. There's no need to be in dynamic unless you're trying to hoon it around. We're going to leave the cruise control on and see what kind of MPG we get. So far, even with mixed driving, where we've done a couple of pulls onto the motorway and we've done some normal driving around town, we've managed to get 32.8 MPG. We're going to see how that changes, but I think that's pretty good so far for a car with 444 horsepower, especially with all-wheel drive. I mean, this is not a light car. You're coming in at about 1,600 kilos for a car like this, which is pretty heavy. Of course, being an RS5, there's absolutely no problem getting up to speed on the motorway. We're on a slip road now, and I'm going to show you what the acceleration is like. So we're going to downshift into second gear and absolutely demolish everyone else. And that's it. That's 70 miles an hour already. Yeah. It's all over in about half a second. And you get those levels of grip from Audi's famous Quattro system This car also has a sports differential in the rear, so if you put your foot down around the corner, you can actually provoke the back end a bit to slide out. Certainly not as much as an M4 or C63, but this car is much more dynamic than journalists put it out to be. Okay, now we've done some driving, let's talk about the real cost of this car. How much is this car going to cost you on finance? Now, being a 46.5 grand car, of course it's not going to be that cheap. With 3 grand down, you'll be able to get this car for $699 a month. With a higher deposit, of course, you're going to get that monthly figure lower. But $699 a month is a fairly good price, to be honest, for a car like this. Now remember, even though this car is only 3 years old, most of the depreciation has already happened. So after the 4 years of you having it on finance, you will actually be able to get some of that money back. Purely because your final payment is only going to be £19,000. And of course, after 4 years, this car is obviously going to be worth more than 19 grand. So you're not going to be struck with a load of negative equity when you give the car back, which is very nice. So we've done some driving in town and on the motorway. We've done some pulls. We haven't driven too economically, and we've still managed to get over 30 miles to the gallon, which in a car with over 440 horsepower and all-wheel drive is very, very impressive. Okay guys, we're back at the dealership now. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more automotive content. I'll see you next time. Cheers.